Ohio State has lost to Michigan yet again for the fourth year in a row. I mean, this is an absolutely embarrassing loss for the Buckeyes, who have spent so much money on their team, and they lost to their rival Michigan, who can't really throw the football. I mean, Michigan 6-5. They just can't even throw the ball. Like, the last 3 years when Ohio State lost to Michigan, it was like, it wasn't good. It was really bad, losing 3 years in a row. But at least those Michigan teams are really good. This Michigan team is not a good team. I mean, give them credit. They won the game, but they lost to a team that's not that good, 6-5. And Ryan Day can't beat Michigan, clearly. Other than the first year, 2019, Ohio State has lost 4 years in a row to Michigan. And the first 3 years you could say, well, can't beat Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team. This year now it's like, no matter what the record is, Ohio State just can't beat Michigan. Even if they're so much better, even if they're clearly the better team, 3 touchdown favorites at home, they just can't beat Michigan. And I think a big reason why Ohio State lost is on Ryan Day trying to install this fake toughness. I remember after the game against Notre Dame about a year ago for Ohio State, Ryan Day was like, this is a tough football team. We're from Ohio. This is a tough football team. And it makes me think, and I've heard a lot of people say this, is that Ohio State didn't want to beat Michigan. They wanted to beat Michigan a certain way. They wanted to beat Michigan a certain way just to prove how tough we are. And it's like, you want to be a tough football team, and it's very important to be a tough team in football. But you can't just say we want to beat a team a certain way. You need to have multiple ways to beat a team. And this stubbornness just to run the ball. We're going to run the football because we're tough. We're Ohio State. We're going to out-tough Michigan. And clearly, if they had O-line injuries, and it just showed they weren't able to out-tough Michigan. Michigan, at the end of the game, plants their flag in the middle of the field at Ohio Stadium, and I don't agree with it. But at the same time, Ohio State should have won the game. And Ryan Day was like, we're not going to let them do that, and we're going to fight them. And then Ryan Day was like, we're going to fight the players. We're going to do that. And again, that's that fake toughness. That we're going to be tough. We're not going to care about winning. We just want to be tough. And you care about winning, but we want to win in a certain way. And that's the way we're going to win. And if we don't win that way, well, we can't really go to the passing game because we're going to run the ball the whole game. We're not going to throw it. And yeah, the passing game wasn't great, but we're just going to run the ball, do bubble screens. We're going to kick you in the teeth, even though Ohio State clearly can't do that. It was just horrible game planning by Ryan Day just to try and send a message. And honestly, those are the worst types of coaches. You're just trying to send a message by doing a certain game plan. You need to do the game plan that will be your most likely to win. You can't be so stubborn and be completely unwilling to make adjustments because that was your original game plan. And Ohio State fighting, that was pathetic. I understand both fan bases being upset, but I'm not going to call Ohio State the victims, even if I don't agree with what Michigan did, planting the flag in the middle of the logo. I'm not going to say they're the victims because they should have beat them on the field. They showed more fight when Michigan planted the flag they did during the game. And if you really don't want to have Michigan plant their logo in the middle of the field, why'd you punt on 4th and 1 with 5.5 minutes to go? It was a 10-10 game. Michigan controlled the time possession. That was unbelievably cowardly coaching by Ryan Day. You go for it. You act like a contender if you're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Now, I'm not saying you got to be Dan Campbell and go for it all the time, but in that situation, you have to go for it. But no, we're going to play defense. Great. Michigan's going to run all over you like they did. And then you have a miscommunication and you waste a timeout. Not even that, you have a penalty on third down, makes it automatic first down, which gives Michigan a new set of time and probably wasted you a minute. Just horrible coaching by Ryan Day. In that situation, you don't punt the ball on 4th and 1 against a team who's been running all over you. And when I saw Ohio State punt on 4th and 1, I'm like, they lost the game. Michigan's going to run out the clock, and you're almost going to have no time left. Congratulations, you played yourself. I guess the good news for Ohio State is, even though they had this embarrassing, pathetic, inexcusable loss, their season's not over. They're still going to be in the playoff. They're still going to have a chance to win the national championship because the playoff expanded to 12 teams. Now, Ohio State fans, there's some Ohio State fans who are just like, we don't care about the playoff. Ryan Day has to go. We lost to Michigan. This is pathetic. The only thing that can save Ryan Day's job is winning a national championship. You have to win the championship. You have to win that to make up for losing to Michigan. That's the only thing that can make up for that, being national champions. If you're not, Ryan Day has to go. And I do want to talk about the 12-team playoff, and there are aspects I like about it and aspects I don't like about it. I generally think it's good that more teams have a chance to compete for a national title. I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's right losing one game, your season's done. Generally, I don't think that's right. At the same time, it does kind of suck that Ohio State gets to go to the playoff because it kind of like long-term technically lowers the stakes of that game and lowers the stakes of that loss, even though losing that game is brutal enough. And I think that just showed with how the Ohio State fan base reacted. They knew their season wasn't over, but they were still devastated, more devastated than losing in the playoff when your season is over. Just shows to me how huge that rivalry is. These teams hate each other. They really hate each other to the point where it's more important than a lot of things. And it's unfortunate that Ohio State gets to go to the playoff, but in terms of the magnification of the loss, however, they are one of the 12 best teams. They are one of the best teams in the sport, even though it was absolutely pathetic. They did beat 2 top 10 teams in Penn State and Indiana in the regular season. And I would not be surprised if they went on a run. That's really kind of the con of it, but more teams having a chance, I generally think, is a good thing for college football. Moving on from college football, we had another messy week. And this time we're going to head to the Windy City to talk about the dumpster fire that is the Chicago Bears. Matt Eberflus was fired after perhaps the worst coaching moment I have ever seen in my life. The Bears had 30 seconds and 1 timeout. Caleb Williams gets sacked on 2nd 15. The Bears have a timeout. And Matt Eberflus is like, I'm not going to use the timeout. I'm just going to run the clock all the way down to 5 seconds. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's what clearly happened. And clearly Caleb Williams didn't get the message either because Caleb Williams didn't know how much time was left in the clock. Caleb Williams was I understand, you can't really blame Caleb Williams the first 10, 15 seconds, but watching the game back, Caleb Williams was just calm like it was a normal play, like there was no reason to rush. That's not the case. Caleb Williams should have known that there was 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and he had to spike the ball right now. And that because of that idiot clock management, the Bears only had 1 play. Matt Eberflus didn't call a timeout because he wanted to call a timeout after 3rd and 26, which I don't really get that. Why would you not call the timeout? I get you have no timeouts if you go on 4th down, but if you call the timeout, you have a play, you have like 25 seconds, 23 seconds, that's more than enough time to get the field goal team on and kick a field goal to tie the game. He deserved to be fired. Like, that's just awful. How do you only get one play off with 33 seconds and a timeout, down 3? That's just pathetic. And yeah, the Bears fired him, and rightfully so. And I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. This is Spence Kling Sports Update, and bye.